Tuesday, November 28th, 2023 was the day everything about confidence just clicked for me. Like, suddenly it just all made sense. And the day that this happened is also the same day all my gym anxiety went away. The happiness that you feel when you just let yourself be free and do what you want to do without worrying about other people's thoughts or opinions breeds envy in other people. They tamp you down because they don't want you to get to that point before they do, which... just because I'm your competition doesn't mean you're mine. That's why all of a sudden everything you do is cringy and makes you look like a weirdo. It's because what's actually cringy for them is the feeling inside that you have the audacity to be the person they wish they could be without shame before they could indulge in that freedom for themselves. So basically, their entire mindset is, how dare you feel better than me, faster than me, while I'm still right here in front of you, as if I'm not still suffering. Insecure people don't like it when you're less insecure than them. It's threatening to them, but they'd rather try and worsen everyone else's insecurities instead of working on their own. So when you're talking bad about yourself, they don't have to do anything because you're already doing it for them. But as soon as you stop, they gotta try to stop you. But let me tell you something. It is not your responsibility to tone down your confidence so somebody else can feel more comfortable in their insecurities. You want me to hate me because you hate me? Nah, you good, bro. There's always going to be people who you make uncomfortable with the way you live your life and the way that you do things because you're different from them and you're okay with it, which makes them insecure. Either they want you to do things the way that they do them so they can feel affirmed about it because they've spent so much time convincing themselves that it might be weird, or they can't get themselves to do things as easily as you can, and it irritates them that you're just another reminder of their inadequacy. But others' insecurity is neither your problem to solve nor your standard to live by. You need to stop over-explaining yourself. Over-explaining, if I remember correctly, is part of the fear response called fawning, which is common in people pleasers. You're trying to maintain this perceived image of yourself so they'll continue to accept you. So when they say something that makes you panic, you over-explain because you're worried about seeming guilty or weird in front of those people. Then you justify yourself to get them off your back so you can breathe again, as you continue to walk on eggshells and monitor yourself for the rest of the night. If they were actually your friends, they wouldn't have you living under such suffocating conditions. See, here's the thing. Wanting validation isn't wrong. It's how we connect with people. It's how we get guidance on whether or not we're doing something correctly. It helps us make decisions. It's just a necessary part of learning and of life. But it becomes a problem when you do any and everything to get validation, especially from people who have already decided they have no intention of giving it to you. That's a waste of time and energy being spent on people who take pride in being somebody that's impossible to satisfy. They didn't get their own validation when they were growing up, so now they force other people to beg for it to fill the void. Problem is, they can only use people pleasers to do it because they're the only ones willing to. So basically, they're using your insecurities to satisfy their own. Don't let them do that anymore. You're above that, and you deserve way more than anything they could ever be capable of or willing to give you. You keep hanging out with your awful friends because you keep forgetting you're allowed to give yourself validation. When you really think about it, the absolute worst thing they can do is think you're weird. Strip that down for a second. The worst they can do is think about you. Strip that down a little more. The worst they can do is think. So when you feel the need to explain, ask yourself, is it necessary to provide context, or are you just falling back into the habit of managing everyone else's emotions? The people who are committed to understanding you will do it with no problem. The people who find it easier to paint you in a negative light so they can ignore how inadequate they feel around you are the ones you shouldn't waste your time on, because they're still going to find a problem with you anyway. So stop wasting your time trying to explain yourself to people who are dedicated to not understanding you. So I said all of that to say, when you feel that happiness inside, chase it unapologetically. That's where your confidence lies.
Hey guys, Editing Sayuri here. I did not realize that when I was filming that video, I never actually went into the ways that I felt that this realization cured my gym anxiety, which I'm sure is a point that a lot of you may have been waiting for me to hit in the video. Don't worry, I'm not gonna leave you stranded. It really wasn't a whole thing, but the best way that I can explain it is when I realized that confidence is where happiness lies. And people only try to take that from you when they fear that you're going to get to that point before them. Like they want to get there first because they're secretly in competition with you. When I realized that it wasn't actually that it was anything I was doing wrong and that I was being a weirdo or being this or being that, but that I truly was allowed to feel that happiness and chase that happiness and basically allowed to be confident, it was basically like I didn't have any reason to be scared in the gym anymore. All of the people who were in the gym, right, who are like 2 and 3 times my size, which really isn't that hard because I'm this big, they all started from somewhere, right? They could have been just a little bit bigger than me, they could have been skinnier than me. I say that because my goal is to gain weight and get stronger. Anyway, all of those people had a starting point. They didn't go walk into the gym for the first time looking like that. They all had their own starting points. If they are allowed to come into the gym and know what they're doing, I am too. I'm allowed to know what I'm doing. I'm allowed to be here. I am not the only person in the world not allowed to be in the gym, not allowed to know what I'm doing, not allowed to put in the work, not allowed to lift dumbbells and barbells and whatever else. If they're allowed to do it, so am I. So there's no reason for me to be nervous. I'm not looking at other people because I'm focused on myself. They're also not looking at me because they're focused on themselves. We all get conceited as hell in the gym. Because my happiness is partly in the gym, and my happiness is in seeing myself get stronger, feeling the weights be lighter than the first time I picked them up, seeing my progress in my workout app, seeing how light the weight was before and how much heavier it is now. The way the last time I did this exercise, I thought it was so much harder, and now it's like, this is easy, light work, soft. Because that's where my happiness is, I'm allowed to chase that. I'm allowed to be there. I'm allowed to take up space. I'm allowed. That's just it. There really is no, it really wasn't this big thing. It was just like when I realized that I was allowed to do that, allowed to be confident and allowed to be happy, I just felt this weight come off my shoulders. And the very next day after that realization happened, that I stepped foot into the gym, I walked in like I fucking built the place, okay? I just owned it. I built it. I furnished the inside of that. Brought all the gym equipment with me too, and I placed it. I placed it in that gym. I decided where it was gonna go. So don't treat me and tell me like I can't be in this gym doing exactly what I see other people doing. So yeah, that's basically what happened with my gym anxiety. But I really hope you guys liked the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and yeah, we'll see you next Sunday for the next one.